Up, Adam.
Hey, Neil, how are you doing?
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by Adam Price, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Good morning.
I'm all right. I've said it 3 times. I might as well say it now. We're actually live. I've only got one monitor, so it's very difficult to see what's going on currently. So if we're a slightly disjointed show, things like live stream starting with a load of chat going and then the intro happening, things like that are going to happen today. It's just one of those things. I'll be ordering a new monitor momentarily once the live show's in flow. Let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure, that's like high pressure gas that we're all breathing in and out, without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No, gas fills space all the time, unless it's contained.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even within containment, you still have gas dispersion. But yes. What'd you say, Neil? Air?
Yeah.
Are you taking the mickey out of that guy I did a debate with some time ago?
Yeah. Well, if you can get by you, huh?
Well, that was his response, right? Can you have gas pressure without a container? Well, air. Well, what about it? Air. Like, gas pressure, air, atmosphere, oxymoronic in nature, is still just gases, a mixture of gases. They fill space. It's the law of nature.
Yeah, he was pulling a Brenda. Look up. In other words, he's not dealing with the existing gas pressure. He's just assuming it's in a sphere.
Yeah, well, it's by the title. It's back to what we were covering in the pre-show with a videographer I should really shout out. So in the pre-show, we were covering this guy who's called Philosophy Coded. And his video is called The Terrifying Theory of Stupidity You Were Never Meant to Hear. So I'm going to put a link to this videographer now in my live stream, so you can go and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hopefully we will do a little bit of coverage on this particular guy during the live stream, so it's not just covering him in the pre-show. But I would like to actually get you guys to toddle along. I can't remember if I set this up. We'll find out now. Does this work? Yay! You can see the live stream chat going by. Hooray! It looks a bit of a mess, but it's good enough for government work. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 something you can see on screen now. There's a link literally going by. The idea being that were this guy to do a response to me, not that we're necessarily critiquing the guy. I mean, there's a couple of things I've disagreed with him on because he's thrown out some of his opinions and and said, think about it, which I love. But, you know, that's not necessarily us critiquing the guy, so there's no reason to badmouth him or spark the YouTube bots when you leave him a little message. But he's not actually a very big channel. He's got 65,000 subscribers or thereabouts. So I'm sure he'd definitely appreciate the YouTube algorithmic love. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980. He sent me with a polite comment that alludes to the fact that we have covered his video. Hopefully he'd do the same for us if he wants to cover us for whatever psychological reasons he might be covering us. In any event, I've put a link to his video, so go and check him out. Psychology Coded is the name of the channel. Right, shall we do a bit more of this video? We all up for that?
Not one more housekeeping question?
Sure. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Negative, on with the video.
So yeah, once again, Philosophy Coded is the video we're covering today. The terrifying theory of stupidity you were never meant to hear is the name of the video. I've already encouraged you to let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and hopefully that has actually given a few people in the live audience enough time to actually toddle along and do actually leave a comment. I'm not just saying it for my health, but we will actually proceed and do a bit of coverage on his video. We're 90% of the way through it because, maybe not 90%, but 75% way through it because we covered a lot of it in the pre-show already. Me having watched it just before we went live and thought, no, that'll be a decent subject to cover.
Found in superior intelligence or education.
Let's just go back a few seconds just so we can get a bit of overlap between the pre-show and the live show.
So relevant today. Who stands fast? When the pressure to conform is overwhelming, when thinking independently requires courage, when the cost of truth is higher than the price of comfortable lies, who stands fast? The answer isn't found in superior intelligence or education. It's found in the daily choice to remain curious rather than certain, to seek truth rather than comfort, to think carefully rather than react quickly. These aren't heroic acts. They're ordinary practices that become extraordinary when everyone around you has stopped doing them. The tragedy is that...
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, it's weird that we stopped at the point where we were highly critical of what was coming out of this particular videographer's mouth at the time. Now I couldn't agree with him more. Everything that he just stated.
Intellectual surrender often feels like liberation. Thinking is hard work. It's uncomfortable to hold complex, contradictory ideas in your mind simultaneously. It's painful to admit you might be wrong about something important. But Bonhoeffer argued that this discomfort is the price of remaining human. In a world that profits from our intellectual surrender, choosing to think for ourselves becomes a radical act. This brings us to perhaps the most uncomfortable truth of all. We're all susceptible to functional stupidity.
By functional stupidity, again, as I say, we've covered this in the pre-show, he's describing the mental shortcuts that we will take. For example, in the context of flat earth debate, the ballers reacting to us undermining the measurement of an earth with a sphere edge for a horizon by way of the black swan. Now, to understand the complexities of a modus tollens argument is to understand the argument. I may as well give you a rendition of it. If the earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, specifically as laid down in earth curve mathematics. Distance to horizon in the black swan image is beyond the geometric limit at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Therefore, the horizon is not Earth curve, and the Earth is not a sphere. Now, I can give you a rendition of that, not because I've got a script in front of me, but because I understand it implicitly. Now, as a mental shortcut to conform or cuck to the social pressures of being on a ball, one might retort with refraction, without actually understanding not only what refraction is, by how it in any way relates to a physical geometric sphere edge measurement at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculations that suggest you can measure Earth curve. But that's a mental shortcut that is functional stupidity in this regard.
The moment we think we're immune, we've already begun to succumb. The price of intellectual freedom is eternal vigilance, not against external enemies, but against our own tendency to stop thinking when...
Again, I'll just stop him there. Did you hear that? Talking to you ballers, right? We established this, or I did, with my panel before we went live, so I didn't have to ask this as a question, right? You ballers, you suffer this, yeah? The inability to not internalize your own concerns with things like the cuck conformity to a ball that you all adhere to. Let's just listen to that one more time.
Come. The price of intellectual freedom is eternal vigilance, not against external enemies, but
That would be me.
against our own tendency to stop thinking when thinking becomes difficult.
Yeah. Having a flat Earth requirement in terms of Earth measurement isn't me, your external enemy. It's you and your inability to process that which must be measured flat. Earth in this instance. Talking to you, ballers.
Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity is unsettling precisely because it's so
Our scientific theory.
accurate. We see it everywhere. Intelligent people believing obviously false things, educated individuals making catastrophically bad decisions, well-meaning citizens supporting policies that contradict their own values. The problem isn't that people are getting less intelligent, it's that our systems increasingly reward intellectual shortcuts over
Yeah, and pile on the pressure by way of keeping people busy, keeping people poor, keeping people stressed, keeping people in fear.
careful thinking. But within this sobering diagnosis lies genuine hope.
It's now
For spot. Sorry, ads.
If stupidity is partly chosen, it can also be rejected. If it's partly structural, structures can be changed. If it's the result of cognitive overwhelm, we can create conditions that make thinking easier rather than harder. Think of critical thinking like physical exercise. It's uncomfortable at first, but essential for strength. Just as we wouldn't expect to run a marathon without training, we can't expect to navigate complex information without practicing intellectual discipline.
Okay, I mean, this is kind of a bit of a nothing burger as far as I'm concerned. Telling people that they need to remain vigilant and exercise their cognitive processing abilities is kind of empty words. Yeah? If people are engaging in these shortcuts that are discussed at the beginning of the video, we covered them in the pre-show, unfortunately, for you watching live, then the people who you're trying to communicate this to are already in a position where they think they're doing the greater good and therefore are completely impervious to anything you're going to suggest to them that might require extra cognitive processing. It's not like a AI simulation where you can just tell it to work harder and it'll brute force every possibility. They're closed, their minds, the people that you're discussing, to these concepts that you're flim-flamming around with, you know, mental exercises or whatever, right? Like you said at the beginning, and I completely agree with him, they're impervious. The people who think they're on a ball have taken those mental shortcuts, but they don't think they're being nefarious when they tell us not to procreate. They don't think they're being evil. Yeah? They think they're doing the greater good.
The mental muscles
Then therefore impervious. Like I say, they're not gonna say, oh yeah, I completely react, I understand, and will now take part in these mental exercises to keep myself frosty. I will remain vigilant. Is not what you'll get as a response when someone's engaging in this kind of mentality. Like you say, and it is you, the videographer, in this case, Philosophy Coded, that suggested this, right? They believe they're doing the greater good. Therefore, they're impervious. They're not going to listen to reason, listen to logic.
Required for independent thought need regular use, or they atrophy. The next time you find yourself absolutely certain about something, the next time you catch yourself dismissing contradictory evidence without...
Next time you find yourself certain that you're on a ball flying through a sky vacuum. The next time you find yourself contradicting with me telling you that you, that's right, you baller, you are measuring Earth flat. Yeah? Let's see what he says next.
Without consideration. The next time you feel the comfort of having all the answers.
The next time you've decided that you just know that curve angles will give you elevations to the stars.
Remember Bonhoeffer's warning.
Remember the warning, yeah.
Functional stupidity doesn't announce itself with fanfare.
That's right. But I will. I'll announce it with fanfare, yeah? When I'm rubbing your noses in your own flat Earth measurements that you can't cognitively process because you believe you're doing the greater good and are therefore impervious. Until there's a frickin' fanfare with Nathan Oakley dancing around going, you're using a flat Earth! Hello? What do you mean your elevation? What do you mean your height? Height? Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth for that. Elevation? Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth to have height off. Elevation angles? What, to create the systems of orbits? You'll need a flat Earth for those measurements. What do you mean Earth as a sphere with a radius of 3959 giving you a geometric sphere edge at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet? That will require you measure your height of eye off surface level to be at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height of eye off surface level. Yeah, these are all notions that our ball-believing brethren won't process cognitively. In their mind, being on a ball is the greater good. And they already know it's true. They've already got the shortcuts in place that make them impervious. But in reality, you're just exercising functional stupidity, and you have been warned. Bonhoeffer warned you from his jail cell, because this nutter tried to kill somebody.
It whispers that you already know everything you need to know. And in that moment of recognition...
Does that sound like a Simon Dan quote? Doesn't need to debate flat earthers because what now?
You have a choice. Will you surrender your mind for the comfort of certainty, or will you choose the more difficult path of intellectual independence? The question Bonhoeffer leaves us with isn't whether we're smart enough to avoid stupidity. It's whether we're committed enough to keep thinking when thinking becomes inconvenient, uncomfortable, or costly. In a world that...
Yeah, that's a nice way to round it out, because especially with the costly, it's not talking about financially costly, although when you're expressing mental effort in some other area, that can be financially detrimental. But he's talking about mentally costly.
That profits from our intellectual surrender, choosing to think carefully.
Has it crashed? Oh. Well, for whatever reason, it's decided that's the end of the video. Have I still got a live stream, Neil? Can you double check?
Give me a second.
As it's full on locked up. This is the problem. I think it's just my graphics card. It'll take a while to catch up. It's because I've got about 1 million different windows all overlapping each other, all open at once, with only one.
It's still live.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure my graphics card will catch up in a second or two. But yes, unfortunately for me, running with one screen means having lots of things overlapping, which does put stress on my graphics card. But there we go. Hopefully it'll catch up. We were quite close to the end of his video anyway, by the looks of things. So I'll just do a plug for him and then maybe we'll get back into it shortly. Can you see why I picked that, Neil?
Yes, I can. It fits for what we're going through today. That's a fact.
Oh, he wanted to play an ad, that's why he was doing it. He wanted to play the same ad twice, that's why he was doing it. Oh, I didn't get
Bonhoeffer's theory was brilliant for its
Not a scientific theory.
time. But here's what he couldn't have known.
A lot he couldn't have known.
This isn't just about moral surrender or social pressure. modern neuroscience reveals something far more unsettling. Our brains are literally wired to fall into functional stupidity. Think about it.
Yeah, I kind of think you covered this already in your summarising, which is fine, because your suggestion makes sense in terms of the logical shortcuts, I think you called them, that make sense in terms of processing power. If you're going to be more efficient, then you're going to do things that are, as you call them, shortcuts. Now, you're saying that those shortcuts lead you into functional stupidity, and it is overall the premise of this video, and I do generally agree with it.
Bonhoeffer witnessed Nazi propaganda spreading through newspapers and radio broadcasts, but we're living through something exponentially more dangerous.
Why? Why'd you... No, it's just propaganda. It's the same thing. Why is it because it's suddenly been affected... It's affecting you, right? And what how you're perceived in social media terms, because you were immediately quick to tell the social media platforms how they should do things, right? The irony. But it's suddenly comparable. The guy was living through wartime Nazi Germany, and you're comparing it to your plight as being more dangerous. What a freaking outrage. I'm going to go with no. You know, get a grip, man.
We've gone from Nazi propaganda to social media algorithms that know...
Oh, no, not social media. Yeah, get a grip. I think we can't really compare these two things, you know.
Exactly which psychological buttons to push, and now we're entering the age of AI deepfakes.
And to be comparable, it drove you to want to murder another man and get locked up and executed. No, so not comparable at all then. Yeah, social media pushing out buttons to buy toothpaste.
That can fabricate reality itself.
Although he did use COVID as an example. Yeah, you're lucky because you didn't get the kibosh put on you. It wasn't being propagandized and censored. Now that you're talking about it, now it's allowed. Oh, it's locked up again. So...
The threat isn't just escalating. It's targeting the very architecture of human cognition. This isn't just about Nazis or propaganda. It's about the wiring of your brain. Our minds evolved to prioritize speed over accuracy. If it doesn't, you'll have learned something valuable about the difference between conviction and truth. The future of human dignity might just depend on how we collectively answer Bonhoeffer's challenge. If this video has made you question something you thought you knew for certain, that's not a weakness. It's the beginning of...
Yeah, boys. If you are questioning something you thought you knew, that's not a weakness. Yeah? Now, obviously, the next cuck in line's going to tell you that you're weak, or insult you, or tell you not to procreate if you do this. But internally, so long as you personally can recognise that it's not weakness, it's just socially it won't help you, and really that's where you're at and why you're there. So it's kind of self-perpetuating for a lot of you Muppets. There's not a lot you can do about this.
Intellectual courage. Share this video with someone.
No amount of courage. They don't have courage, right? These people are cowards. We've dealt with them for 10 years. Intellectual courage is a distant thing for a lot of these people. They're just flat out cowards.
Who isn't afraid to think deeply, even when it's uncomfortable. Because in a world designed to profit from our intellectual surrender, the simple act of thinking carefully becomes the most important form of resistance we have. And here's what I want you to remember. Every time you choose curiosity over certainty, evidence over emotion, careful thinking over quick reactions, you're not just protecting your own mind. You're defending the very possibility of human wisdom.
There he goes again. Right, so you want to... Socially, it's what you're striving for, and in the conclusion is, again, very telling. Right, you want to have consensus. You want conformity. You want the world to be as you view it. Yeah? And you see that that is the best possible outcome. Yeah? It's like, okay, I'm not suggesting you should be a selfish prick, but I'm saying that these notions are just telling for you wanting to fit in with society and how you think you'd be best served telling the social media platforms how to do that. Oh, ironic. But this is all garbage. No. Introspection, yeah, you can do that, though. You being able to control the mind's eye of the people at large or educate them better, or you're wasting your time. Number one, because most people are just thick. Yeah, it's not like this complex stupidity that the intellectuals suffer occasionally. Most people are just retarded. Yeah, your average Joe, he's thick as shit. I've come to that conclusion. I came to that conclusion when I was about 8 years old. Yeah, I just assessed the people around me and went, my God, you're all thick. Yeah, and nothing's changed. Yeah, I've gone through my entire adult life realising this fact to be more and more true as time goes on. Most people are dumb. And there's not a great deal you could do. You could just laugh. Otherwise, you despair, right? I remember once, I say recent, it's probably 10 years ago, but I was here in this town, right? And I was up at my local supermarket, right? And I remember doing that, which I've just described, looking around and assessing the people around me and realising, as I always have, that the majority of them are very, very stupid. And at that particular time, about 10 years ago, I did, for a brief moment, have that feeling of utter despair. Like, the world is doomed. They're just too stupid. What's that, Neil? Go ahead. I laugh about this now.
I had that feeling, too, when I came out and I seen a bunch of people with masks on.
Yeah, I didn't. I laughed then. I know it's a perfect example, though. Me telling you how I reacted to that was with amusement, because you have to, or you'd go nuts, right? You'd drive yourself bonkers because you can't control the people. Even if this guy, in his la belief that if he suddenly got hold of the social networking algorithms, he could, for the greater good, make people have decent information and be critical thinkers. I can't even get to the end of that sentence. No, definitely not. Not only will you not achieve it, you'll get burned at the stake for it, mate. You having me on? Oh, it's been a good day. This has been much better than yesterday.
In an age of artificial stupidity,
sometimes it's not artificial, that's the point.
One belief you're willing to question this week?
Yeah, take this, right? Just for the guy. I hope somebody does actually share this video, right? Give this guy some love. Because for the most part, 90% of what he's saying, right, I agree with. And I get it's psychological drivel to some. But this is a point of contention in terms of why people behave the way that they do. And we haven't got crystal balls. We can't divine the thoughts of men, but we can discuss it in philosophical terms, right? That's all this is, right? And I like the cut of this man's jib, for the most part. So if I'm seeming critical of him, I'm not really. It's very amusing, and I like batting off people like this. But just consider for a second that he's applying this to the mentally competent, isn't he? Everyone following along where I'm about to go? He's applying this brush to the people of sound mind. He used it in examples, didn't he? Yeah? He's saying these people are normally the rational people of society, right? The free thinkers, the people who have got a good head on their shoulders. They suffer this type of stupidity because of the propaganda or whatever reasons and excuses he made for these people of note mentally. They're not the retarded masses that also suffer this, yeah? No different, but they're beginner-level stupidity from the outset, aren't they? Yeah? So how do you think they are? Do you think they're more malleable when you try and cope with talking to them and rationalising with them and reasoning with them? Hell no. Those are the people that will actually burn you at the stake. Shout out to Crypto something or other. I can't read on my blurry screen. It's too far away. 17-foot distance. He's joined. Thank you for joining as a hyena. Really appreciate it. Let's get the last few seconds.
Let me know in the comments.
Oh, we will. I've been sending people your way. I appreciate the video. Hopefully you don't mind me covering it.
And let's commit to being the kind of people who stand fast when everyone else has stopped thinking.
Again, so telling as the last thoughts. Yeah, you want that, don't you? You want everyone to conform. You want everyone to be like you. Yeah? It's a pipe dream. both makes me smile because it makes me think you, as a videographer, are quite sweet. Do you know what I mean by that? I'm going to ask Neil to see if I can get a reaction. Do you know what I mean? He seems quite sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, but get a grip. Yes, that sort of sentiment. Nah.
Thinking.
Pleasure. Right, okay, so that was philosophy coded. And yeah, like I say, I like the cut of the man's jib. And hopefully we can at least offer some assistance in the YouTube algorithmic love that we definitely do not receive here, where we are highly censored. Yeah? Because we talk about how Earth's measured. And that's in contradiction to what people have already come to a conclusion about and have plenty of mental shortcuts, as you put it, to balldom that only exist by measuring Earth flat in the first instance. Therefore, I need heavy censorship. There also needs to be an air that the flat Earth is a crazy nonsense notion that deals with 9/11 truth. Or COVID. Yeah? We're not. We talk about how Earth's measured here, but we're censored into all non-existence. But this guy, philosophy coded, he'll be finding out about us because he'll be getting little comments from people who watched Nathan Oakley 1980's video, letting him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is indeed a link to this videographer whistling its way behind the live stream. I don't know why I'm glancing up at my other monitor. There's nothing on it. It's black screen. Hopefully that's coming up on screen. Let's just go to... where's OBS? Oh, my God. I might this stream. It's too much. It's too complicated. Everything's on top of each other. Yes, it is going by in the live stream chat. Yeah, there's a link going by. Please let the videographer know with a polite comment that isn't rude, doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube bots, doesn't snare, enrage the videographer, if I get my words out. Hey, was that Eli that just joined? Well, I'm glad to have you here, if it was Eli. I think it was. Anyway, what did you all think of that? Did you like doing a bit of... I'm glad QE's not here. I already got told off for covering psychological mumbo-jumbo. Did you all enjoy that?
Yes, wonderful.
Not often I pick a video.
Fine.
That was actually my choice. It's normally me being reactive to other people's suggestions of videos. That was actually one I picked.
It was quite deep for a Monday. I might have to rewatch it to really grasp what he was saying.
Not deep for a Tuesday, though. Good job it's Friday.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was Saturday.
No, we took the DeLorean to next Friday so we could do this show then and have 3 days off. We'll be talking about it now in 3 weeks.
Can I read you something real quick?
You can?
This is the intro to a baller server. We're science lovers, tech nerds, math brains, and occasional flat earth diehard come to argue like it's their job. I think it's the other way around. They treat it as a job. And science, really? Are they science lovers? Because I haven't seen any science coming out of these servers at all.
Who are you talking about?
Omnivore's server. That's the intro to a server.
Oh, good for him. That's the way to be, right? If you don't like how you're being treated in someone else's server, do it yourself. Good on you, Omnivore.
Yeah, but be truthful.
What's he not being truthful about?
They're science lovers?
Hey? Do you need to put that on your door? What I mean by that is if you're running like a dog centre, you know, like a welfare centre for, what do you call those? For pet rescue or whatever. If you're running one of those...
A kennel?
What? Dog's home. Like
A kennel? Like a dog kennel?
Yeah, kennel. If you're running a kennel, right, you don't have to put underneath the sign for your kennel, "We don't beat the dogs here." You don't need to do that, do you? Right? In the same way, you don't need to put under your server, you know, we definitely do science here. We love it.
In Vietnam, I think you do.
What What did they do in Vietnam?
He said in Vietnam, I think they do feed the dogs.
They beat the dogs, as in, the kennel's not going to mistreat the dogs, not eat the dogs, like
Feed.
feed.
Got to let them know they're feeding the dogs. So when you buy a nice dog dish, you know that they were properly fed.
Yeah, are you talking about it because they rear dogs for food in Vietnam? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's the way I took it.
Yeah.
Ah, fair enough. The last time I talked about eating pets, it didn't go down very well. I mean, I've travelled all over the world and eaten a lot of different things, but I'm not going to mention it. I'm just not even going to say it. I made that mistake last time about 5 years ago. I won't do that again. I'll just keep it to myself.
Well, it's kind of like, you see the way they prepare the dog? Kind of brutal.
I mean, I don't really want to get demonetised, but have you ever seen the way they castrate pigs? I mean,
No,
it's
and I
just
don't want to.
processing. Right, well, it's just processing food. My dad is a vegetarian and has been, obviously, as long as I can remember. And the reason he's a vegetarian is because he went to an abattoir and they used a bolt gun on the cows. But it didn't work. But they didn't care. This is my dad's story, not my own. I didn't experience this. But it sent him vegetarian. They didn't care that the cows weren't dead when they dumped them into a giant vat of a mixture of boiling hot water and fat to sear the hairs off them. Now, the fact that they were not dead was enough to make my dad permanent vegetarian.
Listen, God has equipped life. And I know this. Because when I got taken out with brass knuckles, I woke up in an ambulance. I don't remember any pain or anything. So there's something built in every life form that you ain't feeling it anyway. Your body just shuts down and you die.
I don't know about that, Neil. You hope so. Anyway, this is a bit of a gruesome conversation. How did we go on to this?
That's Liam's fault.
Vietnamese.
No, it's me saying if you're running a kennel, you don't have to put that you don't abuse the dogs above the door. Likewise, you don't have to profess your love of science unless you know damn well that you're not doing any. But a lot of your religion uses those words. So you better make everyone reaffirm that they know that, oh, we definitely are doing science here.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, now it makes sense.
I came through in the end. I didn't realise I was that convoluted up until this point, or I'd have summarised it earlier, Neil.
Well, I was thinking about it in a different way, but now that I think about it like that, yeah, you have to put it out there that, hey, we love science here. Meanwhile, you don't know what it is, but you got to make it appear like you love science.
Yeah. Well, if you're hijacking it and claiming it when you haven't got any.
Absolutely correct.
The thing I liked about today's video is it shows you why potentially we, us, could get so frustrated so easily with the people we're dealing with. They're impervious because they believe they're doing the greater good. They believe they're already right. So let's use Simon Dan as the example. He came up earlier. I can't remember what the context was for him coming up. Oh yeah, that was it. He's like, I don't need to talk any flat to talk. To use proper words. I don't need to talk to any flat earthers. I don't need to debate with them. I've already got the answers. I already know it's a ball. What would be the point in discussing it? Right? Now that attitude is directly addressed by this guy we covered today. Would you not agree?
Yes. It still doesn't give them, okay, nowhere is it right to tell someone to drink bleach and die. So how's that the greater good of man? How do they feel that that's doing the greater good of man?
I don't know, but you know, as the guy in the video we just covered said, if in your heart of hearts you think you're doing the greater good, then there is no natural buffer to stop you being inherently evil. If you know you're doing something wrong, there's a natural tendency, unless you're a psychopath, to not do that. Any other comments on today's video? Everything's starting to lag on my computer. Might be a shorter show. I mentioned it at the beginning of my live show, but I will mention it again. The monitor that I got alongside this computer has failed this morning. So my youngest daughter came in and was like, "Can you put Bluey on?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, can I put Bluey on? I'm pretty sure you know how to click on a symbol that says Disney." So I come into the lounge and I'm like, "Oh, crap. This monitor's not coming in. It's not turning on." And as you're on the panel, Craig, the power cable's welded itself inside the monitor. It won't disconnect. So whatever's happened has been catastrophic. Because it's all burnt inside and welded itself to the monitor. So it's failed in some spectacular way.
What was the country of manufacture?
Electric, Electriq.
No, the country it was manufactured in was China.
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 It's Chinesium. Oh, yeah. It was the cheapest Chinesium available. Of course.
I say when they buy those cheap chargers for their laptops, they usually last 3 to 6 months. And sometimes they catch fire. And they're from China.
Yeah, that's what Jardo said from the comments. He was like, "Yeah, it's the switch mode power supply." And it's like, "Yeah." And it's gone wrong in a way that's it's taken the monitor with it. Oh, well.
Oh, well. It's only money.
Well, it's a few $100. Buy cheap, buy twice, and this will be the second one in 2 or 3 years. I don't know. When did Paul get me this computer? Was it 22? He got me this computer. Can anybody remember when that Paul guy, LVA Paul, bought me this passive computer? Because that's when I got this monitor. I'm pretty sure it's 2 or 3 years ago now. Anyway, I'll get another.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I mean, that's not exactly a great run. 2 or 3 years out of a monitor. On the other hand, I've heard people that have 12 months out of an Asus. So, not the end of the world. Just not great either. But they're cheap,
Not
right?
to change,
Say again?
not to change the subject, but I didn't realize how much that guy Bono from U2 was hated. He just did a Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan. And Nathan, I'm telling you, every single comment was dogging this guy. Like, what did he do that people hate him so much? I never realized that.
I don't know. I've never figured that out either. I've got nothing against Bono. Bono seems like just a dude doing his music and doing his thing, and then people hate on him for some reason. I've never figured that out, actually, Neil. I quite like
Especially
you too.
the Irish.
He is Irish. But I've never
No,
quite...
they hate him the most.
The Irish hate you too? Or hate Bono?
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
being
maybe...
sarcastic, Nathan.
What? What? Come again?
You're being sarcastic. You don't know why Bono is disliked.
Well, maybe you could fill us in.
It's because of the years of virtue signaling and appealing to charity events and being the face of any charity that he'll put. People perceive him as the typical celebrity. He will only give money to charity if he's photographed doing so, and will tell you to do so.
Yeah, that's what they were saying in their freaking comments.
He sounds
guess
downright
that's the
evil.
thing.
Yeah.
And he's full of himself, too. I guess that's what it is. Could it be that a lot of people are envious, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds like it. So he does a lot of charity work. Therefore, he's self-righteous. Is that correct? I wasn't being
it's a mixed
sarcastic.
bag.
I didn't know that. I was going to say, I don't know why people hate him. He does a lot of charity work, doesn't he? But you're like, he does a lot of charity work. I remember when he gave everybody a free album. Bastard! How dare he?
That's what they were saying in the comments, too. Everybody was mad about that. I was like, great. I got a free U2 album.
You telling me I downloaded iTunes? I didn't ask for a U2 album, and it's there anyway. It's downloaded without me pressing a button. For free? Without my consent? I think he should be hung.
And it was a good album, too. I like that one.
Yeah, I don't get it. People pick the really weirdest people to dislike. It's like, Bono? What's not to like about Bono?
Well, one thing I will say is, why do you care so much about people across the world when we have our own homeless people here who you'll walk past and not care for? So there is that negative perception, which I think is valid.
Yeah, but you mean to tell me he's done nothing for Ireland? I mean, what do you want him to do? Just take every single homeless person and just take care of them?
Yes.
I mean, there's only so much one man can do.
He's not doing enough,
No,
Neil, that's for sure.
But when you're asking people to donate money all the time to build wells in Africa, as great as that is, what about the people in Ireland? You know.
Or Africa.
I got you.
Well, there we go. I mean, I'm very disappointed in Bono also. You do.
Well, they come a far way since that. I remember that Live Aid concert where Queen stole the show, but it was U2. If you look at that video again, there's U2 banners everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess when you get so big, people begin to dislike you. I don't know.
It's hard to know, Neil.
Because if your missus likes him more than you, then you're going to be a bit jealous.
Well, I like him because he's honest. He says like he didn't know how to sing a lick. He was just shouting, and he had to take singing lessons. He had to learn how to breathe and how to sing properly. A lot of people wouldn't admit that.
I'm glad we got this cleared up.
Putting the world to right one day at a time.
I don't see ballers rushing in anymore. It's gotten very flat Earth, if you know what I mean. I'm hoping the book generates some more motivation.
That's kind of all I'm waiting on, Neil. I mean, I've got myself set to cover the last little hurdle of going through the process of making the book. So I'm not financially stressed about it. I'll probably make another half a dozen videos. That's about it, because that's all I've got on order that's due to come. But I've got no intention to buy any more microphones, that is. Just want to sell them all to keep the mortgage paid over the next month or two while the book's being done. Then once the book's done, start marketing that, start selling that. That will be where I get more motivation. At the moment, I'm like, oh well, if I haven't got two monitors and the show looks a bit rough around the edges and my transitions are slow and I'm stuttering over my words as I'm trying to figure out where everything is as it's all overlapping and the computer's starting to lag. It's like, so what? This is the calm before the storm as far as I'm concerned, right? So it's a bit like metaphorically being a bit slobby. There's crisp rappers and sweet rappers around me metaphorically. And I'm like, I don't care. For the moment, it's fine. Doing other things, that can be sorted out momentarily.
Well, not just you. It's less people are showing up in the Discord. Less people are showing up in Teams. It's gotten a little flat, a little stale. I mean, because it's measured flat. I mean, what do you do from there?
Well, that should be the starting point, because most people don't realise that, Neil. But it will be, like I say, once the book's available to be punted and sold, I'll be out there punting and selling it. Let's go around with the book itself.
I'm too feeling that kind of tiredness.
Again, Adam?
I said I'm too feeling tired. I don't know, man. Like it's how much flatter can it get? To be honest, and I'm there in my life. Like I'm here at like this crossroads. I'm not really sure how much I can pay attention anymore to the earth and its flatness, especially since no one seems to care, outside of us,
Yeah, that's you telling us the videographer we covered earlier, right? So your desire to have the rest of society see it as you see it. But it was always qualified by, you know,
I don't know.
The whole world will know it's flat soon. You know, that's how it was quantified previously.
Yeah, it should be easy. It should be that easy. And yeah, maybe it's my own cognitive little hiccup, but you know, it gets discouraging. And then eventually, you know, at this point, you can show me anything, and I can show you the flat part, but I'm still here, and I don't know what I'm gonna do while I'm still here anymore.
Just continue to do what you're doing. My concern is the people that used to
I'm
be
doing
here
it.
are not here. And we're getting a little sloppy. So when the book hits, there's going to be a rejuvenation, right? Bigger than before. That's why it's important to be well represented by the language that we use, because people are going to be seeking you out. I was like, what this Nathan Oakley? He's got a YouTube channel? Let me see what this is all about.
Not to mention, people are going to be trying to falsely represent our positions like they've been doing.
Aha. I didn't think of that, Eli. You're right.
Like, and that's not just like, you know, a personal thing for us. Like, that's the way the world is run. Like, if you look at any entertainment media, like there's always the information that's available, and then everyone who's talking about it for whatever reason can't seem to get the details right. So I don't want. It's just like how we talk about the Black Swan; they still don't get the details right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is frustrating.
Yeah, what you're saying is our own side want the mental shortcuts too.
Our own side, what?
Want mental shortcuts.
Yeah.
Don't want to learn the argument.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, Nathan, because look at Earth being measured flat.
mute,
That's why I
Eli.
wanted you to go over it, because the guy yesterday that was trying to, get you and what's his name, McToon together, he had no idea what you meant. What do you mean, man? How? But he'll take what little information he has and not understand it and go and try to punt it in another server.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy that was like joining in on Jardo's negotiations.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know who he was, but yes, I know who you mean. I mean, yeah, he's getting involved with people's discussions on various forums, me in that instance, but didn't know what an elevation angle is. I was like, why would you be expected to? And why would he, Neil? But for the fact that he's getting involved is what you're saying.
Yeah, and well, no, he didn't even know. So that's why, and I knew when you were saying it to him, he still had no clue. That's why I wanted you to break it down and go over it from now. After you went over it, I don't know if he comprehended it. I mean, to me, it's so simple, but other people are not comprehending it. And maybe it's they understand it, but they don't know how to articulate it. So they come off not knowing what they're talking about. Eli, you experience it all the time, right? Over there, people come into 24/7 and they'll just say elevation angle, and that's it.
Yes. I concur on behalf of Eli.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, again, back to today's video. The guy's summarising it quite nicely. It is, in all instances, easier to find the mental shortcut and assume that someone else has done the mental gymnastics and work, so you don't have to. But look, this has been overcome. So then you end up with two numpties, right? You've got the numpty that says elevation angle, and then you've got the other numpty you respond with refraction. And neither of them know the argument.
That's why the book is going to be great, because you could just go to the book. Let me see what it says about elevation angle. Just, here, I got you. Now, let's resume that argument. Black Swan. Find it up, look it up. Now you can argue Black Swan.
Yeah, if you assume that people will actually process the book in that way. You don't know. It's hard to know how the book will be received, Neil. But I can't wait to start flogging it. Yeah? Because once it's actually out there, once it's out in people's hands and they start discussing the contents, I just can't wait. It will have an impact for a significant period of time. I can't understress enough how influential this book is going to be.
Are you likely to ask to promote it? Obviously, Mark Sargent will hopefully have you on. Who else have you considered?
You name it. Anybody who will have me, I will approach them all. Or I'll have someone else approach them on my behalf, might be better. But in any event, I need to get out everywhere. That needs to be my primary focus. Right, I've sent my wife the link to my £230 Chinese and 4K monitor from Amazon. Hopefully that'll be back with us tomorrow. We can have a normal show again. No, this hasn't been... I would say this has been no different to most people in the audience. They wouldn't have known that I had a severe technical limitation today. Most people probably wouldn't know any difference. Which is good, right? Yes, Nathan. You're ace. Yep. Yeah, I know. I work very hard. I have a high standard.
I think QE's doing a show today. You could plug it on a live show.
We are live, and we're going to be live for the next 5 minutes at least. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel at 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Central Standard for Quantum Eraser Live. I do believe he is covering the video with Simon, Dan, and Jaren, having a little chitty chat. So that's what their discussion form will be today. It is today, isn't it? Yeah, today, Tuesday. Somebody threw me by saying it was Monday when it isn't. You, Liam.
Sorry, that's working too many hours.
Yeah, I can relate. I was up at 5 a.m. posting a microphone. Anyway, I'm sure you mean you working hard, but I'll take it to mean me.
Yes, so QE's live today.
Yeah, I was tailing out of that plug, wasn't I? Let's get a grip. Let's get some focus. So yeah, be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel, 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Central Standard, and they are doing a Quantum Eraser live show. So yeah, it should be fun. Fun will be had by all.
I think it's the Jaren show.
Or my screen's starting to flash.
Guy.
Right, I'm gonna round out the show in 2 minutes on the hour, so it will still be an hour show, but I'm starting to get errors with this computer because of running everything overlapping. So it's just starting to flash black. Did that probably came through on the live stream? Did you all see it flash black? Anyway, there's definitely an end imminent for this live stream. Yes, it did. I've just seen on the playback that it flashed black. Okay, yeah, this computer's going to give up the ghost if I don't end the stream soon. Let's quit while I'm ahead. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering stream, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. But if you are watching live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'm going to quit while I'm ahead in case we have any computer errors and I don't get to do this outro. So I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.